everybody, you're now listening to Cup of Queens with Paige and Saray, and today we're so excited. We have North Dakota's very own Duchessa Gelato, who is Maartje. She's the owner and founder, and we're picking her brain on all things business inspiration, motivation, and what is next for her and her business.
Maartje is so incredible, and it was really amazing to listen to her story on how she decided to chase her dream and bringing her Netherlands roots back to the Midwest. She quit her 9-to-5 as a nurse and opened Duchessa Gelato and is now following her passion.
So grab your cup and enjoy.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you? Sorry. My dog's probably gonna bark a few times.
Saray is the dog too, so that's okay.
Yes, mine is just clicking around.
Okay, does this work?
Yeah, this is great.
Working.
Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Nice.
How are you?
Good. How about you guys?
Good. We're so excited to talk with you.
Yeah.
Thank you for thinking of me. I've listened to a few of your podcasts. Of course, Love Always popped up, but I always like listening to Christy's story, so that was fun.
Oh my gosh.
She's so sweet, so fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, we absolutely love her.
And we actually had Milkmaid on last week who said that she's partnered with you before, so that was cool.
Yes, yeah, she's fun. She's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, so fun. But we're so excited to have you.
Yes.
And okay, you have to help me out with how you pronounce your name because the spelling is so unique.
Maartje, like the month March with an A, if that helps.
Oh, okay, that's so pretty.
Gosh.
Yeah, I'm from the Netherlands, and it's a super popular name there, but when we moved, it's really pronounced Maartje, but people couldn't roll the R, so I had to kind of change it to Maartje, so that's what it is.
Oh my
that works.
gosh, that is so cool. So your parents are from the Netherlands?
Yes, yep, we moved when I was 7, so I was there for 3 years.
Wow.
And then now we're here.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So I was
Did you ever...
I don't have an accent, so I can hide it, but my parents have pretty big accents, so you can tell for sure they're not from here.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, so do you go back every now and then? Like, have you made it back?
Yeah, so we still have quite a bit of family there, so we usually try to travel back once or twice a year. Obviously, this last year has been a little bit different, so hopefully we'll get back soon, but now I'm pregnant, and I'm probably not going to be able to travel as much with that going on, but it'll all work out. Hopefully we'll get back sooner than later.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, congrats on that. That is so exciting.
Some days I forget I'm having a baby, and then some days I remember. So hopefully once my tummy gets bigger and I won't forget anymore.
Yeah. Things must be going good then if you're having a hard time remembering. That's great.
That's true. I'm lucky for that.
What do you do?
Gosh.
End of October, so I'm 21 weeks tomorrow, so just about halfway.
That's awesome. I was born in October too, so that's the best month. Just kidding.
My husband's birthday is October 22nd, so he might get a birthday gift, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I feel like October is a very popular birthday month, so.
It is.
Totally.
There are a lot of October babies, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to give us some background because I'm guessing the Netherlands has a little bit of the name of your business and what you're doing. So tell us a little bit about how you got started in this and give us the background.
Yes, of course. So, like I said, I'm originally from the Netherlands. When I was 7, I have 2 older brothers, and then obviously both of my parents, they come from dairy farming families. So we were dairy farmers in the Netherlands. And then in 2001, when I was 7, we moved to Alberta, Canada, actually. We lived like half an hour from Edmonton. I don't know if you're familiar with that area.
Yeah.
But we were dairy farmers there as well for about 8 years. And then when I was 13, we moved to small town Carrington, North Dakota. And now they dairy farm here, and I think they're here to stay. And that's where I'm at now. But so I went all throughout high school at Carrington, and then I went to the University of North Dakota for nursing school. So I graduated in 2017 in December, and then I started working at Fargo in the Sanford ER, and I worked there for about 2.5 years, and then my husband and I moved back to Carrington, and the gelato business took off. So now I'm not working as a nurse anymore. But I guess I can kind of backtrack to where gelato started. Since being originally from the Netherlands, we travel back quite often, and there's lots of gelato shops there, just like there is in Italy. So I have very fond memories of visiting gelato shops with my grandparents and the rest of my family. And I thought it was such a good experience and such a happy feeling every single time. I thought this would be so fun to bring back to North Dakota. And at that time, when I truly started to think about making gelato or anything like that, I always loved going to coffee shops and just the fun little atmosphere. At that time, I was still in nursing school, so obviously my full focus was on graduating. And my parents were like, you just focus on being a nurse and getting through school.
Yeah.
And we made our way back home, and my mom had sent me a text. I was in, I think, my second to last semester of nursing school. For a mother-daughter trip to Chicago. There was like a week-long immersion course on the basics of how to make gelato. And I thought, oh, if my mom's texting me, that means she's on board. So I better take full advantage of this.
Yes.
That's kind of where it really started. My mom and I went on this trip where it was about 7 days where we just learned how to make gelato from scratch. We didn't really go into depth about anything too crazy, but just learned the basics. And then we came home and both had such a good time and fell in love with the process and thought, well, we're dairy farmers. Milk is the main ingredient of gelato, so why not use our own milk? So then we had to brainstorm a few different ways, since now at this time I was working full-time as a nurse. I was working night shift, so I needed something flexible where I can make my own schedule. So we thought a mobile business would be best. So we got a cart from Italy. It's like a little vintage, cute Italian gelato serving. And then my mom gave up her side of the garage, so we renovated her part into a little dairy processing facility, and that's how I got started. And from there on, I did network a lot with some gelato shop owners in the Netherlands, so they gave me a lot of guidance. So I started doing weddings and business meetings and basically anybody that was willing to hire me. So that's kind of how Duchessa Gelato got started, and a lot of things in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so cool. What, like the name, what does that mean? Is there a meaning behind it, or?
It's always hard for me to explain why I named it Duchessa. At that time, and still, I was a big Kate Middleton fan, so of course she's the Duchess. So I always thought like Duchess, since I'm Dutch. I always liked the name Duchess, and then I thought, well, I don't really want to have the T in there. I still want it to be kind of a classy thing, because gelato is like a super high quality royal type of ice cream, Italian ice cream. So I was like, well, I just want it to be smooth and classy, and then. So then it was just Duchess, and I thought, well, Duchessa is kind of fun because it's the Italian word for Duchess. So I'm like, Duchessa.
Oh.
And we came, we had a lot of different names out there. I think we went over like 100. And then we were like, well, Duchessa just comes so smoothly off the mouth, and it's classy. So that's kind of what we came up with that. In the nutshell, that's kind of where Duchessa came from.
That is so cool. I love that your cart is from Italy.
Yeah.
Like how you are committed to like the authenticity of it.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
so
It's
cool.
all of our, so obviously gelato is super huge in Italy. So all our gelato equipment is from Italy, and then our gelato cart. And then we do get a lot of ingredients from there as well, like our pistachios and hazelnuts and just the traditional Italian flavors. But we also like to use local ingredients like local berries or honey and things like that. We like to use European chocolate because that is the best chocolate, I say, of course. But we do, of course, we want to support the USA too, and of course North Dakota. So we try to use a lot of local ingredients as well. But I do want to keep it authentic and traditional. So it's super fun using some ingredients from Italy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So how do you go about ordering stuff from Italy? Like, is that just a normal thing that anyone can do?
Yeah, so there's a few gelato companies obviously there. They have a bunch of gelato companies since there's so many gelato shops. So I've with the school that my mom and I went to, it's actually Gelato University, and it's a thing there. And I was supposed to go, or I was planning on going for about a month to take the intermediate and advanced courses because we did the basic one. And then it ended up being online due to everything going on this past year, which was fine. I'm thankful for Zoom. So I did get to take the intermediate and advanced courses just to learn a little bit more in depth of the gelato process and the different types of ingredients you can use. So through that, and then the gelato shops in the Netherlands giving me guidance on you should order this from there, you can order this from there. And then of course Amazon has a lot of things that we need to.
Totally.
Yeah.
Amazon, the saving grace of
Bless
all.
Amazon. Oh my gosh. What would we do
I try
without
not to
it?
use too much Amazon, but you know, when it's like a time crunch and you need it in like 2 days, it's always my go-to.
There. Yeah. So, you know, before COVID, pre-COVID, then you must have went back to Italy quite a few times and met with these different gelato business owners and all of that then, right?
So I didn't go. I went to Italy with one of my friends a long time ago, but that was just vacation. Most of my networking is done with gelato shop owners in the Netherlands. So when I go there to visit family, I would just visit those shops, and they were always so nice. They thought, well, she's across the ocean, she's not going to be a competitor. So they just gave me all the information. So it was nice. I come from a small town in the Netherlands, and there's a few gelato and ice cream shops there. So they knew my parents. So I was super lucky to have those people or as mentors.
That is awesome. And I'm
What a
sure
cool connection, like a cool circle, just to see that all now come to fruition.
that is so cool.
Yeah.
So you have to be just crazy busy because is this what you're doing now, like full time?
Yes. Yep. So I am kind of busy, and now I'm starting to get a little bit overwhelmed with things. It's kind of starting to catch up on me. I'm not saying I'm burnt out. I have to really figure some things out and become a little bit more organized, but we do monthly orders. So we make a lot of pints, and now this past year we haven't had many events. So I was just solely doing gelato deliveries, and now the weddings are back and the graduation. So I'm pouring all the catering events on top of the gelato deliveries and pint making. So that's been a little bit of a challenge to get back into the groove. And we just hired our first gal. She actually goes to MDSU. So she's just here for the summertime. I already know I'm going to miss her when August comes around. But it's a big step hiring somebody and just, taking the time to teach them. And luckily she's a fast learner, and a lot of things are pretty repetitious. But she gets to go all over the place with me. So that's been a lot of fun. But we are also making cheese now. We make Gouda cheese, artisan Gouda cheese, and I'm from the Netherlands, and that's where Gouda comes from. So we thought, well, that's the perfect addition to our menu. And then we also make cheese curds because that's what the people want here. So
that's what the people want.
Give the people what they want.
1000%.
Sometimes you have to do what the customer wants, even though you don't really want to, because I'm like, let's Gouda. All you need is Gouda cheese, but it's fun. So we just started doing that about a couple weeks ago. I should say a couple weeks. It's already been two months since our first batch of Gouda, but it has to age for a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks. That would be a young Gouda. So it's going to take some time to perfect a recipe. Now I'm making cheese on top of the gelato, and just growing pains, I guess I like to call them.
Yeah. So how do you work through finding that work-life balance? Because obviously work is in your backyard. You can't really shut it off, and working with family, working with your spouse, and with life about to be a whole lot busier with your new baby. How have you worked through that and found that balance? Maybe you're still working through it.
Yes, I absolutely am. I haven't figured that out yet. Right now I'm still able to do it because it's just my husband and I. But when the baby comes, we're definitely going to need to make some changes. But I always knew that I worked a lot, but now it's our employee, Amanda, it's her 3rd week. So I've been obviously keeping track of her hours, and I before she started, I was like, I don't know if we'll get like 40 hours for you. Well, her first week was like 65 hours or something.
Oh
And now I'm
my
like,
gosh.
and at that, and then like, looking back at that week, I'm like, oh my goodness, my husband and I really are working almost all day late. I mean, we sleep at night, we get good sleep. So that's going to be really hard for us come October.
Yeah.
But it has taught me that I do need to take time and, you know, say no to a few events and maybe cut the order a little bit shorter. I always let it run out because we just, the more pints, the better, because we're building this creamery now and that comes with lots of bills. So you gotta, you know, maybe it's just, I don't like to call it a hustle because I really do love what I do and it doesn't really feel like work. But we do spend a lot of time at the creamery and doing book work and things like that, that I need to hire probably some more people so I can take the time to enjoy life and not just work all the time. You know, at a certain point, it's going to probably start feeling like work a little bit. Right now, we're still pretty young and new into the business, and it's still fun and exciting. But eventually, I'm going to need to take some time to step back so I don't get burnt out, which I'm always afraid of happening, but it hasn't happened yet. So I should take care of myself before I get to that point.
Yeah. Well, push through while you can. And, you know, it's really cool that you have these new things coming to fruition with the creamery and cheese curds. I mean, that's awesome. So how do you stay focused on, you know, having all those different things? What are some good, that's got to take a lot of organization, and I'm always looking for some organization tips. So how do you keep organized and focused on kind of furthering your business into these other areas?
Yeah, it's also a good question. Honestly, like I don't know how I've made it, how I've made it where I have. I need a lot of organizational tips. Like I am probably the last person you want to get advice from when it comes to organization. And now sometimes it's catching up to me. Like I forget a lot of things and I don't write things down. And it's like the day before and I'm like, oh no, I need to do this. I need to do that. So if you do know anybody that has tips, you can give me my phone number because right now I'm just kind of taking it day by day and, you know, adding the Gouda cheese and adding the cheese curds. I haven't quite yet figured out what a good schedule is and how we can go about it. Right now, if I have a day free from gelato, okay, we're going to make cheese that day because I know it's going to be probably a few more days till I have another free day. So right now it's like the days I used to probably kind of have off, now I make cheese. So it's something that's probably going to take another few months or a year or maybe even longer for us to truly figure out, you know, what's a good schedule for our family and our business that's going to make it work. So adding, you know, the new things to the menu, like cheese on top of a gelato, keeps the business interesting and it keeps it fun. And it was a good time for us to grow. We moved into the new creamery. My husband and I purchased the farmstead about a year ago. And yeah, the creamery is right in our backyard. My commute to work is very short. So we renovated this old pole barn, and that's now where we make our gelato and our cheese. And it's going to have a little storefront cafe area that'll have a gelato bar, and a coffee bar, and yeah, it'd be really fun to have you guys come out there. When
Yes, absolutely, yes.
We hope it to be a tourist destination for people to come out, you know, with their family, their kids, or a girls' trip. There's like a winery just a few miles down the road. So cheese and gelato, or cheese and wine, I should say, and gelato are like the best things you could ask for. So I want to give people the, you know, the European feel and experience that I had back home. I want to give that right here on our farmstead. And we do have a really super cute farmstead. It's so picturesque, and we got some really nice white buildings. And of course, it's ours. So every time, like, oh, it's so cute out here. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a little patio, and then we'll give tours as well. And then maybe do some cheese classes and teach people how to make cheese boards and fun things like that. And then also the dairy farm's right down the road. So showing them where the cows are and where gelato and cheese really gets started.
That is so cool. I'm
amazing.
so excited.
That is going to be the Bachelorette destination. We both just got back from Bachelorette this last weekend, and I'm like, okay, now planning the next one. Cheese, gelato, wine. It's like the 3 major food groups of a Bachelorette party.
And like all things European. I remember the very first time I went to Europe. We were over in Paris, and I had gelato for the first time, and it was so cool. They made it so it was like a cone, and then they made it like a large flower. Like they had like different layers and different flavors, and it was so cool. And I remember taking a picture of it, and it was great. So, and what I was gonna say is I'm originally from Harvey, North Dakota, so right by Carrington. So I actually drive through there when I go home. And my family used to be dairy farmers too growing up. We sold them before I was in high school, but should have held on to those cows because dang it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Harvey, that's North Dakota close. We're basically neighbors.
Basically neighbors, yeah.
Oh my gosh, the small world.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you guys have done so much already, and you've already expanded so much. So, what do you think is your biggest accomplishment so far within your business?
I think I don't give myself enough credit very often, but I think, I'm proud of my husband and I for what we have done, and we have made a lot of sacrifices, and looking back, I don't regret anything. So I'm really proud of how much our business has grown in just a few short years, and how, I guess that's what I'm most proud of. I'm just looking forward to sharing our life and our farm to the people around us. And my small town, Carrington, has been so supportive. So I'm excited to give back and hope to get people to come to Carrington for a little day trip, just to make it like a little mini Waco, like North Dakota's little Waco, Texas.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing.
That is so cool.
So excited.
You gals are from Fargo, but if you ever have, friends coming from Minneapolis or elsewhere, this would be, it is 2 hours from Fargo, but that's not that far when you're from North Dakota. Just a fun day trip to do something else rather than go to the bar down the street or something like that. It's just a little bit different and truly get the North Dakota feel and the farm life feel.
Totally. Yeah.
And so when is that going to be officially open and something, or is it open now?
So it's not open. The creamery, so the processing room and the aging room, that's all finished. So we're making our cheese and gelato in the creamery, but the front storefront cafe area, that's not quite done. We were hoping this summer we would be open once a week, but with everything being back ordered and all that jazz, it's pushing us a little bit further, which truly has been kind of a blessing because I'm learning how to make gelato and cheese and trying to get a schedule. So we're hoping probably later in the fall or do something bigger around Christmas time, have some soft openings, and then next summer we'll probably have a big open house. But we'll probably start being open once or twice a week, probably on the weekends, so people can travel from out of town. So hopefully, I keep saying end of fall, but that's when the baby gets here.
You just have to play it by ear.
Yeah. Oh, so fun.
I work from home, right? So the baby can just come with me to work.
Yeah, just a little work buddy. You got it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be as easy as I'm imagining and hoping for, but I doubt it.
We have no advice to give on that, but we've had a lot of great moms on our podcast, so listen to some of those for the tips because they know better than we do.
My husband's like, I bet there's a girl from New York that wants to come and live on the farm life and make gelato and cheese and be a nanny. So I'm like, well, if we can afford a nanny, I would love like an in-house nanny. And then my husband's like, well, does she cook too? Because we need somebody to make supper.
That sounds like the way to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It sounds like the dream job. If I was in the big city to come nanny on a little farm that makes gelato and cheese, that sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah, I think I'd be there for sure.
That sounds great. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
So, you have such exciting things coming up, with expecting and, this new kind of side of your business to allow people to come and be and experience it all, which is super unique. I've never heard of anything like that where it's, specifically focused on gelato. So you have probably done a lot of unique things. And we want to know, what is some of the most unique, whether it's gelato or maybe then the cheese, what are some of the most unique things that you have done throughout your career so far?
I think the biggest thing and the most unique thing, which is kind of, why my business is what it is that we use milk straight from our cows. We start with raw milk, and my family, my two older brothers and my parents are the dairy farmers, and they're super passionate about what they do, and they take really good care of their cattle. So this is kind of me honoring my family and my grandparents and making something super sweet and now savory with cheese with the milk that our cows produce. So I think that makes my business the most unique and stand out from other businesses that make ice cream or gelato or cheese or anything like that. Other than that, I think just having the farmstead and having people to be able to come out, I think that's going to be super cool, and giving people the opportunity to know, this is what dairy farming is like, and this is what it's like to make a farm fresh gelato or a farm fresh Gouda. It's something very different, and North Dakota doesn't really have it. We're actually only on-farm creamery, so it's a good time for us to be getting into this. I know in the future, I'm sure some will pop up here and there, because people do really want to know where their food comes from, and they love buying food from the farmer and the producer themselves. So we're getting into it at a good time. So yeah, if that answers the question.
Yes,
Yeah.
1000%.
That was so
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah. So, okay, you're obviously living your dream. You're loving it. Life is good. But if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
I think I'd probably be working as a nurse. Before we ever started this gelato business, my husband's a physical therapist. I don't know if I mentioned that. I don't know. I think maybe we'd be a traveling nurse and physical therapist and go around the nation and visit new places. I like to travel. I actually really love to travel. And now with work being at home and being a lot of hours, we don't really get to travel that often. But I've learned to feel like I'm on vacation right here at home. And I really am. When I step outside and I hear the birds, I really am like on my own little vacation every single day. So I'm super grateful for what I have. Of course, I'd love to go to Hawaii or go to Europe, but you kind of make happiness wherever you are. And since I can't travel at this time in my life, this is kind of my vacation now, and I've learned to love it.
I love that you say that. Make
awesome.
happiness wherever you are. I think that's something that we all need to remember. And just hearing you say that is a really great reminder. So,
especially with the year we just came off
Yes.
of. I mean, we all learned that, travel's not always guaranteed. And I love that. That is such great advice. So,
speaking of advice,
we have one more question for you, because it is got to be, we know it's scary based on the different women we've spoken to that have started their own business. What is your biggest advice to someone who is maybe thinking to take the leap and begin their business and their passion?
I think, it's so cliche to say, oh, just follow your dreams. But if you can make it happen, because I know it's not always like you have this big dream and it's really hard to make it happen sometimes. Sometimes it just seems impossible, but I guess you can really never work hard enough in the beginning. You really have to sacrifice time with your friends and family from the start. Not all businesses have to start that way, but a lot do. I've met a lot of entrepreneurs and they live very similar lives. And I don't know if maybe we can change that or make it a little bit different, that entrepreneurs don't have to be that way. But definitely don't be afraid to work hard, and then find some really great mentors that can teach you, give you advice on organizational skills, which I still need to find that mentor. Usually, like, my husband gives me tips, but I don't want to listen to him when I'm like overwhelmed. But that's probably the biggest advice, to never be afraid to work hard.
What was kind of that turning moment for you where you did decide, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to leave the nursing life and take on this completely different role. When did you feel like it was the right time to take that leap?
So I was working as a nurse when I first started Duchessa Gelato. So I think that was kind of my safety net. You know, I'm going to test out this business. I didn't fully like quit everything and started this. My husband always tells people, don't quit your 9-to-5 job when you start a business. Try to do both for as long as you can handle. And if your business is really taking off and doing well, then you decide, okay, I can cut back. So I cut back. I stopped nursing mainly because I had so many events and I just couldn't keep up anymore. There was lots of times I worked the night shift. I'd get off at 7 in Fargo and I would drive to Carrington and churn gelato and do an event. So there was times where I dangerously didn't sleep. And at that time I was like, oh, this is normal. Now looking back, when I stay up like till 11 or midnight, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I did this for 2 years straight. But there's something really beautiful and special in working for yourself. And I wish that everybody could have that feeling or have that opportunity to work for yourself, because it doesn't feel like work when it's for you and you get to decide, you know, I want to donate, you know, I made a little extra money this month. It's all going to my business. I want to donate it here. I want to do this with my money. There's just something really special. And when you work on a late Saturday night serving gelato at a wedding and it's for you and for your business, there's never any complaints when you have to work the extra mile. So working for yourself, I think that's when you get the taste of that, you can't go back. So now we're just trying to do everything we can to keep our business, you know, maintain or continue to grow. And my next goal is to get my husband home full time. He's working in town as a PT. Of course, he does a really good job and his patients love him. So they're going to be sad to see him go, but I really want him to be able to work with me on the farm and be able to pay the bills that way.
Yes. Yeah, that is so awesome.
That is so great.
And great advice. I mean, I think I really love that you talk about how it's a lot of work at that beginning when you're building that business, because we hear it all the time, but I just don't think we can ever hear it enough that nothing comes easy, and it sounds like it's really worth it.
Really rewarding as well.
Yeah, and if you find something or a business you want to do and you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. So even though you put in a lot of hours, you love what you do. So in the end, it all works out.
Yeah.
So awesome.
No, absolutely. Okay, so we have a fun game. We're so excited. We put together a game. It's called How Would You Proceed? So we have 5 questions, just different scenarios that we'll give you. And they're a little out there.
Very out there. We want to pick your brain. Yeah. We've done this before with a couple of our other guests, and it's so fun to put these situations out there and see how you
can be a little nervous.
No,
there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer.
Yeah, and they can be as short and sweet or as long as you want. Yeah. So, okay, so the first one, we all love Beyonce. So Beyonce asks you to cater her event. It's tomorrow, and you need to double your inventory. How do you proceed?
I have to double my inventory? Oh. Ooh. I guess I have all the milk I could ask for, so I'm good on that. But double inventory, oh boy. I guess I would be churning all night because it's a long process to make gelato. So I would probably churn all night and come up with my personal favorite flavors, hoping that she would like it too. Yes. So yeah, I guess I would work all night and try to make as much gelato as possible. Maybe like make a Facebook message like, anybody can come help me from Carrington.
You might meet Beyonce out of it.
Yeah.
Churn all night. Love it.
So this isn't part of the game, but I'm just curious, how long does that take?
Yeah.
So I'll kind of just explain kind of the whole process a little bit, but the night before I'm churning the gelato, I go to the dairy farm and get the fresh milk, and then I bring it to the creamery, and then I have a gelato vat, I like to call it. So I throw in the milk, and then the cream and the sugars, and then it heats up to a certain temperature, and then it cools down overnight. So this is the traditional hot process gelato base making. This is how they used to really do it way back when. It's probably the most authentic way you can make gelato, with raw milk and then the hot process. So then it ages overnight. It basically just cools, and it's just got a small little beater that turns all night long. So a minimum of 12 hours we like to age it for.
Wow.
And that causes the consistency and all the ingredients to come together really well. And then I'll wake up early in the morning and say I want to make strawberry gelato. I take fresh strawberries, cut and wash them, and then take a piece of that gelato base, and I mix the strawberries in the gelato base, and then put it in the gelato machine. And about 5-7 minutes later, out comes gelato. And then we either, that process is pretty fast.
Yeah, that's quick and easy.
Yeah, so at that point, when the gelato comes out, we either put it in the pint containers for our deliveries, or if it goes into one of our containers for the gelato cart that I would serve at weddings.
Cool.
That's so cool.
So 24 hours before Beyonce's event is doable. It's just a lot of work.
Okay, so Beyonce will be one happy lady. We're good.
Beyonce will make it work. All right. The next scenario is you have an event coming up, and the event forces you to pick an animal to have at your stand to represent your business. What animal would you pick?
I guess it's so cliche. I'd have to pick a dairy cow.
Totally. We're like, she's gonna say cow. She's gotta say cow.
Should come up with something else. I think maybe a golden retriever. Just because they're like, everybody loves those dogs and they're so happy, and I don't know. An animal that would communicate well with the customer, and I think a golden retriever might be the best one. They probably wouldn't work very hard though. But
everyone loves dogs. So, and yeah, everybody loves gelato. Everyone loves golden retrievers. I think that makes a lot of sense.
You'd get a lot of people to your booth with the dog. Okay, so you arrive to an event that you're catering and your entire inventory is melted. How do you proceed?
Oh, I think I would cry. Oh my gosh, that'd be really hard because all of that's made fresh just for that event. I guess what I would do probably is, depending, if I'm at the event, it probably needs to be served within the next hour or two. The only thing I could probably do is go to the bride and apologize, because unless I had gelato at home that I could quickly get my mom to come bring up, but I think I'd probably be toast, because I only make the flavors for that event, and I don't make anything else. So yeah, I would probably, that would be devastating.
Just take an L on that one.
Yeah. I don't really have a good way to proceed other than cry and apologize.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
Well, fingers crossed that doesn't ever happen. So.
I know, gosh.
We're putting this out there so that it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We're trying to not predict that.
Yeah.
All right, well, another crazy scenario. So you are asked to cater an event, but you have to choose between two of these flavors that you will serve and put your business's name on. And they are going to either be horseradish gelato or mustard gelato. Which one do you choose?
Probably, I think I'd have to say mustard. I think maybe that would taste better with milk and cream compared to horseradish. I'm not really a horseradish person, so maybe it's because I would prefer mustard. I think maybe I could make that work.
The confidence. I think I could make that work.
I love that. We believe in you.
Oh gosh, that's good. I agree. I think I would have picked the mustard too.
I think so too. At least I like mustard.
Yeah.
I could probably make do. Okay. All right, so the last one, this one is somebody insists on having their gelato presented in a casket. How do you proceed?
Yeah, I think I would. Have you seen like the cool gelato pans that have it like heaped up at some gelato shops in Italy? I don't know.
Oh, yes.
I would just put a bunch of cool, like a bunch of different flavors, and it'd be like kind of like a bunch of flower wavy things in the casket. I don't know. I could make that look pretty cool, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
For a Halloween party, this could be great.
Yeah.
I would just have to find a way to keep it frozen, so that'd be the only challenge.
But you would do it. You're like, I'll make the casket work.
Yes, yeah.
The flexibility is there. Like, it sounds like you're willing to work with any situation. So I would say you passed in my book. So, okay, I mean, you do so much, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners already know about your business. We definitely were super familiar with you, but where can people find you on social media, and how can they order? Give us all of the information on where people can find you.
Yeah, so we have an Instagram and Facebook page, Duchessa Gelato, and we deliver to 11 cities in North Dakota. So if you are lucky and fall under those cities, every month we have a gelato order. So this one that's open right now is for the 4th of July and closes this Friday. So you can order ahead of time on the website. It's all pre-orders. So if you do see that I'm in Fargo and you haven't ordered, there's no gelato for you. So it's all made fresh. I didn't make any extra just because I want to make sure it gets to my customer and it gets eaten and off my hands. So that way you could try our gelato, and then we will be at the Red River Market this summer. We're not there every weekend, but we are there quite often. And then most of my other events are private. So unless you come on Wedding Crash, you can find gelato there. But a lot of people are guests usually at weddings, so that they'll see me around. But mainly the monthly gelato orders is where you can try our gelato.
Amazing.
Nice.
We'll definitely be reaching out and getting our hands on that, or at least hunting down some of these events that you have coming up, because now I'm starving after talking about all this.
I'm at supper and I'm like, I'm hungry. And then one final question. We're trying to ask all of our people that we interview this. So what does a queen mean to you?
What does a queen mean to me? I think a queen means to me like a true, authentic, I guess this is the queen I would want to be, or the queen I would want to see or meet. A true, honest, authentic woman that is genuinely giving guidance and living life honestly and genuinely. I've said those words a few times already, but just somebody you can relate to on a normal level. A queen is just a overall, just a really good, genuine person. That's what a queen is to me.
Love it. Authentic, honest. I think those are
genuine,
such good words to describe exactly what we're trying to represent and show throughout the women on our show. So we so appreciate you talking with us today and giving us all the gelato knowledge.
It's been so fun. Thank you so much. I want to meet you when you come to Fargo, so let us know.
You have to let us know.
Or we'll come to you.
Yes. I think you have a great name, Cup of Queens. I think that's an awesome. You're going to go far with that one.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. You were so sweet. Well, we will have all those different social platforms linked. Definitely keep us updated with different things that you're doing. Let us know when the grand opening happens, because we will be there, and we want to share that on our social platforms too, because that's awesome.
Yes, I would love. I can already see it in the future. We'll have a Cup of Queens event in Carrington, and it'll be good.
Yes, we will.
You guys have to be the gals that give advice and sit in front of everybody and be the speakers. I don't know if that's what you want to do, but I think that'd be pretty awesome.
We'll do it. Give us some mics. We're there.
I think that's so cool.
Awesome.
Thanks again.
Thanks so much. We'll talk soon.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Bye.